When I was a beautiful baby, my mom would enroll my brother and me to swimming lessons. I learned backstrokes, side strokes, breath holding, diving. It was a lot of fun and excellent foreshadowing, but I didn't use them. Water parks are the best. You get to swim and you get to slide down slides. I don't know, I haven't been in one in 10 years. Water parks are what my mom would call breeding grounds of diarrhea and Legionella. I'm just kidding, she doesn't know what Legionella is. But neither did I! I just googled what diseases you could catch from water parks. Seriously, I would always wonder what diseases you could catch there. Not worry, wonder. Pools are really cool, but you know what they are? Soups of human waste. I can guarantee there is not a single person who hasn't peed in pools. And if you haven't, what's it like to have your pants on fire? You stinking liar. These whole parks are full of stinky liars. You know those superstitions where you get cold because you passed through a ghost? When you suddenly feel warm in there, that's how you know you passed through someone's pee. That could be a fun game actually. Grab someone and you could go through pee like their checkpoints. I'll stop right there. Actually, seeing this footage now kind of reminds me of my nosebleeds. Throughout my childhood, I was actually really prone to them. Especially in the summer, which meant that at some point, my blood was in some random swimming pool. I don't really remember any specifics, but that definitely happened. I do have one memory that most likely caused a big nosebleed though. At a water park I'll call Blue Park, I was in a huge ring float with my family. It was in this tall ride that spiraled around the tower. You would think that we'd go in one smooth direction, but we were actually bouncing around in there. We hit something and I flew off the ring and caught it. Just barely. I hung on for dear life all the way down. The feeling was... Have you guys ever taken a hose and sprayed water at yourself? Feels great turning off the water, right? When we reached the bottom, my face smacked into the ring. Did I feel terrible? No, it actually felt pretty peaceful, all things considered. I floated underwater without a care in the world. That was when I discovered how much I loved being alone. My face was cool, it always is, and everything was muffled. It felt like nobody was near me. This was my idea of heaven because I remember thinking afterwards that if I could stay there forever, I could. Jeez, that was so sad. Sometimes I wish I could just disappear. And then some lifeguard saved my life and my face stung. Thanks a lot, stupid. My experiences with slides didn't get any better. So my dad, my brother, and me went on a water slide. It was a long one, which meant that it had to flatten once or twice before you reach the bottom, you know, so you don't break your neck. My dad and brother went together while I went alone. This particular slide ramped up so the ride down could be more thrilling. I say would because I almost didn't make it. You see, I was chubby but not yet blanket sized, so my weight almost wasn't enough to push me through. So I slowed to a stop right at the top of the ramp, twice, while my dad and brother zoomed past me. You know, when you have to scooch twice to get to the bottom, it's not a slide anymore. Just tilt them down! I wish I could just disappear. My one good memory with water slides was when I was younger, and it didn't really have anything to do with me. For some reason, 6-year-old me was hysterical when my dad slid into the water. I don't know why. We usually packed lunches for the whole trip, so we never had any of the cafeteria food. I wish the cafeterias were more like this place. It was gonna be my weird restaurants video, but it was more cool than weird. Do you have any idea how much cooler it would be if cafeterias were more like that? On the other hand, it's gonna be pretty annoying to still be soaking wet in people's pee. There was another water park we went to. Let's just call this one the Salty Wadi, because it had really salty water. You know why. Goggles sucked, which made the water suck harder, but they had these awesome water toilet guns. But they did have these turret water guns that you could aim at everybody within a circle. They were pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. I almost blinded another kid. There was also a pool that had a wave machine. I was blinded by all the water getting in my eyes. You could say it was karma before I almost blinded that kid. Anyway, it got deep pretty quick at the wave machine pool, so I wasn't allowed to go further in. It sucked. What do you mean it's too deep? I'm 9 years old. I can go further. I hate it when adults patronize children. I wasn't allowed to cross the street by myself until I was 12. Just let me get carried away by the current. I just want to be alone again. There was a third water park we went to. Let's call it Frozenland. At Frozenland, instead of concrete, wood, and tiles like all the other parks, this one was fitted with blue splash turfs. Running around was pretty comfortable because I didn't have to burn my feet. And because no one's feet burned, people could play football. There was a football field. Soccer! There was a field that had sprinklers spraying everywhere at all times. I didn't even play football. I just ran around the whole place. It's a miracle not a single ball hit my head. Mostly because I just stood around watching, I think. It might have never happened. Other than that, my experience at Frozenland was actually pretty dope. I snorkeled with fishies, chilled in the tundra, and I had a duet with Elsa. It was just overall really good. If I ever get a chance to go to water parks again, this is the one I'm going to. I've got about 1 or 2 experiences with Blue Park. At Blue Park, there was this awesome pool area that I always made a beeline for. It had a jungle gym with a walk path cutting straight through the middle. If you're wondering why that exists, it's because there's a giant bucket right above. It would dump freezing water every few minutes. One time at the same pool, I saw this couple making out. They were old, or at least 8-year-old me thought they were. PDA is not exactly encouraged where I live, so it was like something that only happened in the movies. Like murder and oppressive governments. I told my mom about the couple and she said I shouldn't watch people kiss, so I slept through a wedding a year later. Alright, so we're almost at the end of the video. I'm gonna close it off with a few ideas for water parks. They may have already been done, so who knows? Water volleyball tournaments. Winners could get free passes the next time they visit. Maybe they could win this stuff too. Water gun tag. Basically laser tag, but with water. They could also have tournaments. Maybe they could win a trip to Cabbages and Condoms. Badminton. If you're gonna have football in there, why not some badminton too? I mean, it's safer than tennis. Feeding stations. Maybe you could feed some stingrays? I did it in Singapore. I'm tired.